So, anyway, Captain, go lay down. Go. Go. Go lay down. Good boy. Good boy. So, anyway, so Captain's going to be with us on our training. Now, what I was telling you is to become a top producer, to become $1 million a year producer, you can't do it being who you are. You are going to have to change. You're going to have to make a commitment to change. And though that might be some scary words for you, I'm going to tell you that the benefits are going to far outweigh not only the financial benefits and just the fact that you're going to love your job, because your job as a salesperson is to connect with people, to find solutions to people, and to give them peace of mind of knowing that they've made the right choice and that you're there for them. And you're going to change people's lives. You're going to change your own life. You're going to make a lot of money doing it, and the benefits of this are going to outweigh any costs that are involved in making this a true study and a true commitment to change that you're going to make for the next 90 days. So, what are the changes that you're going to have to make? Being a $1 million producer, a $1 million producer has a lot different outlook on life than you have. He has a different paradigm of viewing the world. He has a different way of interacting with customers. And he has a different way of going about his business day to day. Well, what we're going to do is ingrain those habits in you. And I want to talk to you about 4 main pillars today of what makes a top producer a top producer. First of all, they have the ability to build rapport quickly. You have 10 to 15 seconds to make a first impression on someone, and that first impression frames the entire interaction you're going to have with them, not only for the sales call, but for your whole existence that you have a relationship for. This not only has to do with your prospects, but it has to do with every person you've ever met or will ever meet. That first impression is where people make judgments and put you into a framework in which they interpret you from that point forward. Now that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but it's a very big truth that we have to really realize, and it's just the way human interaction works. So the first skill that top producers have is they're able to build rapport quickly, so that the framework that their prospect puts them in is one not of the average salesperson, or they automatically go to the used car salesperson, that cliche. Someone who would do anything and say anything to get a buck from you, but one of a qualified professional who, as a matter of routine professionalism, is giving you his best attention and giving you the best advice possible for their benefit and not for yours. The second principle that a top producer has that you don't have right now and that you will get in this video series, and as you put forth the work during the day, is the ability to qualify quickly. Now, when I say qualify quickly, most salespeople listen to that and they think of what the qualification criteria for the product is. For instance, in the insurance business, we think of qualification as someone being able to meet the health standards that the underwriting department is going to, the underwriting department is going to accept. Well, that's part of it. And, if someone's dying of cancer, unfortunately, as an insurance agent, there's not much you can do for them in getting them a new insurance policy. So you want to send them on their way to where they can find real help, and you want to spend your time helping people who you can really help. And that's part of it. But the other part of it is being able to qualify them as being, someone you should or should not be spending what is your most valuable commodity, which is time, talking to. You have to manage your time properly, and that means talking to, and only talking to, people with a high likelihood of buying your product. And in order to do that, the next stage of that is to, and I'll expand on all this later, but the main thing is to get to a yes or a no. A yes or a no in every sales presentation. And then fourth comes down to when you get to the maybes, that I have to think about it, let me talk to someone else, let me talk to you next week, I'm not ready to make a decision as of yet, etc., etc., etc. When you get to these, and these are what I call maybes, which are your biggest enemy as a salesperson, because they suck up your time and they create what I call fool's gold, because every now and then you get someone, but you haven't spent your time wisely. Someone's going to make you chase them around for a while. They're not as good as the next lead that you can talk to. The next lead has a higher likelihood of buying from you than someone that's going to make you chase them around and who keeps giving you maybes and maybes and maybes and maybes. And when you get to the point where you get maybes, the top producers have the ability to overcome these excuses that they give you and lead that into a sale right away. So, I want you to think right now, and I think I gave you a hint, about what is your most valuable commodity as a salesperson. Now, I ask this question in seminars a lot, and what I get is several things. I get a good script, a good sales process, a good lead management program, a good lead program, good prospects, referrals, the ability to create rapport, the ability to close. I get all these things, and all of these things are excellent. And you're going to have all of these to become $1 million a year producer. But what encompasses all of those, and what is the most valuable thing you have as a salesperson, is your time. Because time encompasses all other things. And you only have so many hours in a day in order to make the most sales possible in that day. And let me give you a hint here. The poorest and the worst salespeople in the world and the best salespeople in the world, or the most successful people in the world, like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, you or me, we all have the same amount of time in a day. We all have the same amount of time. So what distinguishes one person, how he can work in 24 hours he has in a day, some of it's sleeping, some of it's eating, some of it's doing whatever your activities of daily living are. But how can one person become a billionaire and another person make less than the average income earner in the country with the same amount of time? And the answer is the way they spend that time. So, I want you to look at it like that. Your most valuable commodity is your time. So you want to spend the time that you have in a given day that you've allotted for work to talk to the people and spend as much of that time as possible, not checking email, not going through correspondence, not doing paperwork, not trying to create the next get-rich-quick scheme or whatever else, but spending time talking to qualified prospects who have a high likelihood of buying your product. And the more time you can fill up spending with those people, the better off you are.